Hello, everyone. I'm Pastor Rex, and welcome to Mosaic Church of the Nazarene. Today, Pastor Jeff will be sharing from the Word of God titled, Don't Go to Church. But first, please join us in some praise and worship songs to glorify the Lord.
When I'm low in spirit, I cry, Lord, lift me up, 'cause I want to go higher with thee. But the Lord knows I can't live on that mountain, so he picked out a valley for me. And he leads me beside still waters, somewhere in the valley below. And he draws me aside to be tested and tried. In the valley he restoreth my soul. When it's dark as a dungeon and the sun seldom shines, and I question, Lord, why must this be? Then he tells me there's strength in my sorrow, and there's victory in trials for me. And he leads me beside still waters, somewhere in the valley below. And he draws me aside to be tested and tried. In the valley he restoreth my soul. Down in the valley he restoreth my soul. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing, holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Open the Good evening. Welcome to Mosaic Church of the Nazarene. I'm Pastor Jeff. What a title I have for you today. It's kind of a dual title. Pick one or the other. The title of this evening's message, Don't Go to Church. It was either that or Drag Your Butt to Church. We couldn't figure out which one would be better, but pros and cons. Why do we want to go to church? You know, a lot of people have stopped going to church. A lot of people have started coming to church. There's like a revolving door in our churches nowadays. But I can tell you, I'd like to share with you a few things that I have found in my life, the times that I haven't went to church, versus the things that were experienced in my life or more prevalent when I did go to church. So, when we have our baptism services in the summer, the question always arises, do you have to go to church to be saved? No. Salvation is aside from church attendance. Granted, it's a whole lot easier, I'll use this term loosely, it's easier to stay saved by going to church, but it's not a prerequisite. It's not forcing yourself, but there's reasons why you may want to. Here's what I've found. Here's what I've seen in myself the times that I have been absent from church. Years and years ago, I found that my prayer life suffered. You know, you pray to God, you get into the habit. Sometimes there are some habits that are easy not to stop. Drinking, smoking, gambling, things. Those habits are hard to quit. But it's not hard to quit praying all the time. When you go to church, you kind of get into that habit. And then that carries on at home. You pray at dinner, you pray when you eat, you pray when you get up, you pray when you go to bed. I noticed that my prayer life suffered. Praying for myself, praying for others, prayers for our country's leaders. I fell away from my weekly reminder, which was church, on how important these things were. No, that wasn't going to send me to hell. It wasn't a bad thing. But not praying is a bad thing. We cut off our source of help as we need to pray to God. In the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 7, verse 14, it says, the Lord says, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven. I will forgive their sin and I will heal their land. That's prayer. That's powerful prayer that comes from being in fellowship with God on a regular basis. You know what else happened? My language suffered. Now, I was probably just this side of a pirate, so I didn't. My language was not wholesome, but cuss words seemed to come out more frequently. And you got to watch that stuff when you're around little people and stuff like that. You don't have to say anything, extremely bad, but it was a hard thing. You fall away. These are kind of bad things. In the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, it says, don't let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up and according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. Nobody benefits from trash talking, from a pirate. Nobody benefits from pirate talk. So my language suffered when I stayed away from church. Man, I think I'll take the summer off. Taking the summer off is not a good idea. It's almost like when you're lifting weights. Church is very much the same. It's like when you're lifting weights. For any of you who've been in an exercise routine, you're exercising, feeling good, woohoo! And then, because I did this after I was sick, I started exercising for a while. Well, it was really easy to become lazy. That's the only way to say it. It was really easy to become lazy and not go to exercise this morning. And then you know what happened? It became really easy the next time I was supposed to go exercise. And it got really easy
since I missed those 2 times, it would be really kind of weird. And before you know it, you develop a habit, a bad habit, of easily not going to exercise, not going to church. Well, when you don't exercise for 2-3 days, try to go back into your same routine and you're huffing and puffing because you fell out of shape. Same thing happens at church. Your language suffers. You haven't been praying like you should. Things make you a little bit more frustrated. I don't know, I tend to lean that way anyway. I get frustrated pretty easily. Even when I go to church 3 days a week and I still get frustrated easily. But I noticed even more so, I wasn't as patient and became angry and frustrated more often. At work, with my wife, driving down the road, you name it. The hard things in life became harder. Man, they became harder. I didn't read my Bible much, if at all, when I didn't go to church. That's the beautiful part about church. We're reading the Bible every time. It's a wonderful thing. Instead of focusing on God, when I should have, I focused on, what was on TV at the moment. That good show that was playing. Wow, I could have been reading my Bible, but look what happened. Turn that up for just a moment. That's what happens. The distractions of life come in, and we no longer have that designated time. Man, those are the bad things about not going to church. There's some very good things, and I'm going to get to the good things, but those are the bad things. I don't mean to be all negative on you. I stopped sending in my tithes after a while. You always have good intentions. You don't go to church, so you're not able to give the tithes and offerings to help the church and help needy people and stuff like that. So since you weren't there, I'm going to go ahead and send them in. I'm going to send in a check. And then you forget to send in a check, but that's okay. I'll get it next week. And then when next week comes around, you're a little tight on the bills. You can't do it then. You simply forgot the first time. But now, we're tight on the bills, so we can't send it in now. And it becomes another habit that's easy to accept, and now you're no longer even supporting the church. I've been through it all, and I think many of us have. The book of Romans, it says, to share with the Lord's people who are in need. Practice hospitalities. Practice hospitality. Finally, it says in the book of Hebrews, it says, let us consider. We need to get back to church. Okay? I think many of you know. Well, Pastor Jeff, I worship God in my own way. On the couch? Is that how you do it? In your pajamas or your lounging shorts? I don't mean to make light of the matter, but that's what many of us do. That's what I used to do. I used to worship God in my own way, which unfortunately was many times no worship at all, if we're honest with ourselves. In the book of Hebrews, it tells us to let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds. We need to encourage one another. We can't do that by watching TV. Even if we're watching a TV preacher, we can't have fellowship with anybody. There's no one who we can spur on or share with or pray for or interact with. It says here, don't give up meeting together as the manner of some are, but encourage one another, all the more as you see that day approaching. Let me give you that all together now. In Hebrews chapter 10, verse 24 and 25, let us consider how we may spur one another toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, even the more as you see the day approaching. There are so many benefits of going to church. You can't stop exercising. I need to get back to exercising because it's good for me, especially, when you get a little bit older. You get a little bit older. I turned 60. So how old am I now? 61. I turned 61. I'm getting older. And I thought to myself, I need to start exercising because it's that important. It's easy to fall away from, but it's that important for good health. I need to get back to church because it's that important for good spiritual health. You know what the wonderful things about going to church are? Becoming closer to God. Don't you feel good? Do you remember? Do you remember how close to God you would feel sometimes during the service? You feel just with the music and everything, you're just enveloped in God's love. Isn't it nice that when you go as a family, you're giving your children, your grandchildren, a good spiritual foundation? You just go to church. I love going to church because it helps me to be a better person, more patient, more kind, more loving, more caring, more giving. That's what it helps me do. I find the sermons valuable. It seems like the pastor, when he preaches, he's always talking directly to me. Have you ever felt that way? It's kind of like, I got to stop talking with pastor. That sermon was directed directly at me. Sometimes that just happens. It happens all the time, and that's just how God works. It's not really how pastor works, because I'm sure he does not sit at home thinking, what message would Jeff be a benefit? I don't think he does that, but rather we just share messages as pastor as the Lord leads us. And I told Pastor Rex today, I said, I feel led to share about church attendance and how important it is, and the downside, what happens when we don't go to church, and what happens, the benefits of going to church. And it's a good lesson. We need to hear this every now and then because we fall away. We fall away and it becomes detrimental to us. It's important to continue our family's tradition. It's important to be a part of a faith community so that people can pray for us, so that we can become and stay the leaders and the messengers of God to be a light to the world. Would you pray about that? Pray about worshiping God in your own way. Pray about the excuses that we tend to give when someone asks, and I'm preaching to myself here as well as you. Someone asks, oh, what church do you go to? I don't go to church. Well, yeah, we were going to church, and then, there are some things that kind of happened. Let it go. We know really those are just excuses. I used to give the same ones myself. But find a way back into church. I'm going to find a way back into exercising. It's the same. That's probably the best analogy that I have, because really, I need to exercise. I want to exercise. I didn't exercise because I pulled muscle in my shoulder, which I might have. But sometimes you just got to get back up on that horse and ride. You follow me on that one? You got to get back to church. Pray with me, please, and we'll approach the Father about that. Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord God. I pray that this message was of benefit, and those who heard it will put it to heart, Lord God. We'll pray, and that you would help us be faithful in our church attendance, because the last person that we need to take a break from, Lord, is you. We thank you for your presence in our lives, and that we would do all things to bring glory to your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Joyful, joyful, we adore thee, God of glory, Lord of love. Hearts unfold like flowers before thee, opening to the sun above. Melt the clouds of sin and sadness, drive the dark of doubt away. Giver of the flowering meadow, flashing sea, chanting birds and flowing fountain, call us to rejoice in thee. Thou art giving and forgiving, ever blessing, everlast, wellspring of the joy of living, ocean depth of happy rest. Thou art Father, Christ our brother, all who live in love are thine. Teach us how to love each other, lift us to thy joy divine. Mortals join the mighty chorus, which the morning stars began. Father's love is reigning glorious, brother's love binds man to man. Ever singing march we onward, victories in the midst of strife. Joyful music leads us onward in the triumph song of life.
Thank you, Pastor Jeff, and thank you everyone for tuning in to our midweek devotional. If you have been blessed by today's message and you are watching on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up and click on the bell to be notified of our future videos. Please join us at our next service. We welcome you and your entire family, and you'll find us right across from Skateland here on North Highway. It's Sunday morning at 10:30. We pray the Lord may bless you so that you may become a blessing to others.